rhetoric that has been coming out, but China hasn't been very quick to condemn Russia at all. There has been numerous rumours and speculation that they would consider supplying military equipment. That has not been denied.
No, that's not true. China has denied that they're supplying any type of military equipment. And quite frankly, if you want to go to war with China because they haven't condemned Russia, why aren't you going to war against India, South Africa, Brazil, and many other countries around the world? I mean, the fact is, you know, if you don't believe that a trial is necessary, that somebody can just be accused and then condemned and hung, then you're in for mob justice. It's not anything. And if you're standing for the rule of law and international organizations, why isn't this brought to the UN? Why isn't the U.S. taking its case? I mean, it's a very, very, tricky thing that if I accused you of something, why haven't you stopped beating your husband? What are you going to say? These are the types of things that the U.S. is pushing. They're zeroing in on China, despite the fact that the vast majority of people in the world, representing the largest area of land and also economically the largest bloc, have not gone in and said they're not going to deal with Russia. The amount of oil, even in Europe right now, the amount of oil that is being imported from Russia is at a very high level. So, I mean, it smacks of hypocrisy and desperation on the Biden side.
Yeah, well, I have to say that last bit is definitely a good point. There has been talk of a potential meeting between Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin on the cards imminently. Is there any talk of that there in Beijing?
No, I haven't heard anything. They've met 19 or so times over the past 5 years. It's not something that they're avoiding. I mean, Xi Jinping met with Biden. I mean, he's met with 25 different heads of state within a very short period of time after they lifted the COVID situation. But it baffles me that, you're talking about the world's largest country that's already identified that it wants to contain China. It's causing trouble all around China, sailing ships up and down the Taiwan Straits, putting embargoes on technical products. I mean, does this sound like somebody who's looking for peace and rationale? Why isn't the U.S. taking its case to the UN? And you know why? Because they'd be outvoted.
There are provocations coming from both sides, right? There was the balloon. What it was doing over the US is debatable, but there are provocations coming from both sides.
Well, if you want to talk about what provocations are coming from China, it's within the last 5 days, there have been more sanctions against Chinese companies based on national security, once again, undisclosed. Just like with Huawei, I mean, it was cleared by the British government. It's cleared by many of the governments of the Five Eyes. U.S. put pressure on them and said, look, you either do it our way or you're not with us. This kind of you're with us or against us attitude could lead us into war. If you go back to World War I, this is exactly what was happening. Great Britain was trying to suppress Germany because it was a rising power. And they sleptwalk into war by, trying to avoid war. And at this juncture, it seems like the U.S. is hell-bent on pushing every button it possibly can to see how far China would go. But this is not like World War I. There are nuclear powers involved. China has made it very clear. It's in their constitution, and the U.S. agreed back in the late 70s and early 80s that there's only one China. They keep pushing on this Taiwan issue. Why? Why is that an economic priority? Why is it a military priority? The U.S. is not an ally of Taiwan.
在俄乌战争开始之前